I walked in on my girlfriend and her guy best friend cuddling in my living room. She said it wasn't what it looked like, but last Saturday, 28 Met got home early from work, like 3 hours early. I had swapped shifts with a coworker last minute. Figured I'd surprise my girlfriend, Jamie, 27F, with her favorite coffee and those blueberry muffins from the little shop she loves downtown. We'd been dating almost 3 years, living together for 1.5. I had keys. I didn't knock. I walked in. Now I wasn't expecting candles or anything. She didn't even know I was coming home early. But what I wasn't expecting was to see her on the couch under a blanket, nestled up with her so-called guy best friend, Travis. Like heads touching, her legs half over his hand on her waist. A movie playing on low volume, dim lights. Real cozy. They both froze when I walked in. Jamie jolted up like she'd been caught shoplifting. Travis just kind of shifted awkwardly, like he didn't know whether to stand or pretend he was part of the couch. I just stood there, still holding the coffee tray. Jamie said, "Right, babe, wait. It's not what it looks like." Not what it looks like. Classic. I asked her straight up, "What exactly am I looking at then?" She said they were watching a movie. It was cold. The blanket was just for warmth. She was tired and he was comforting her. She'd had a stressful week, and Travis was just being a good friend. Meanwhile, Travis still hadn't said a single word. I didn't yell. I didn't scream. I just placed the coffee and muffins on the kitchen counter. Told Jamie I needed to step out for a bit and left. Drove to the parking lot of a Target and just sat there for hours, trying to make sense of it. Her guy best friend, the one she always said was her like a brother, the one she swore never looked at her that way, the one she said I'd be insecure about for no reason. Flashback to a year ago when I first brought up how uncomfortable I was with how close they were. The texting every night until midnight. The nay movie nights when I wasn't home. The inside jokes. The way he'd rest his hand on her back when they hugged. She told me I was being controlling. That Travis had been in her life longer than I had. That if I trusted her, I wouldn't question it. So I stopped questioning it. I told myself I was being dramatic. That it was all in my head. Back to that Target parking lot, I messaged my buddy Rick. Asked if I could crash at his place. He said yes. Drove home, walked in, and told Jamie I was going to spend the weekend at Rick's. She cried. Said I was overreacting. Said again that it wasn't what it looked like. I asked if she'd cuddle with any of her female friends like that if the roles were reversed. She didn't answer. Later that night, she texted me a wall of messages, saying she loved me, that she never cheated, that Travis was just going through a hard time and needed comfort, that I was being paranoid. She sent me photos from earlier in the day of her and Travis out shopping. All casual, nothing romantic. She said she only invited him over because she didn't think I'd be home. Exactly. She didn't think I'd be home. Rick and I talked it out over some beers. He said what I saw wasn't okay, that even if nothing physical happened, the emotional intimacy was a red flag. He asked how I'd feel if roles were reversed. If she walked in and found me cuddled up with a female friend. The answer was obvious. So I started digging. I went through old texts, old photos, social media interactions. Not trying to be obsessive, just trying to see if I missed something. Turns out Travis was a common presence, commenting on her posts with inside jokes, liking photos from way back. And once, about 6 months ago, she went on a weekend trip with her friends. Travis happened to be at the same Airbnb. That was never mentioned to me. I confronted her about it. She said she didn't tell me because she didn't want me to get the wrong idea. That they slept in separate rooms. That it was all innocent. But how many innocent coincidences add up before it stops being innocent? I haven't moved back in yet. I told Jamie I needed time. She's been texting me every day, sending me photos of our apartment, of our cat, of the coffee she's drinking. Little reminders of our life. She keeps saying she misses me, that she wants to make things right, that she'll cut Travis off if it means saving us. But should it have taken me walking in on them for her to set boundaries? Part of me misses her. Part of me wants to believe her, but another part? It keeps replaying the image of her curled up next to him. That comfortable, familiar closeness. The kind you don't fake. I haven't made a decision yet. Maybe I'll update when I do. But right now, I'm just sitting here staring at the wall, wondering how a muffin run turned into a relationship crossroads. Part 2. Update. So it's been a few days since I walked in on Jamie and Travis. A lot has happened since that moment, and I'm still trying to process everything. I didn't expect to get so many messages asking for an update. Some of you even gave me advice on the situation, which I really appreciated. First things first, let me clear the air. I did go back to talk to Jamie. After a few days of no contact, I thought it was only fair to have an honest conversation. We sat down at a coffee shop and I told her I needed clarity on everything. The one thing I had been struggling with the most was the trust issue. When she said, "It's not what it looks like," I wanted to believe her, but my gut had a different feeling. I brought up how I was feeling, how her actions made me question her commitment to our relationship, how I felt betrayed, not just by what happened, but by the fact that she couldn't see why I'd feel uncomfortable. She kept defending herself, telling me that there was nothing romantic going on with Travis, that she valued our relationship and that I was being paranoid. But then she said something that hit me hard. She admitted that she and Travis had a deep connection, but it was platonic. However, she also said that she hadn't set any boundaries with him because she didn't think she had to. She felt comfortable with their friendship and thought I should have been more understanding. She told me that she never thought I would react the way I did, because to her it was just normal behavior between close friends. That's when I really started to see the divide between us. I wasn't upset about the cuddling per se. I was upset about the lack of boundaries, the secrecy, and the emotional intimacy she was giving someone else that she should have been giving to me. She didn't seem to get that. It was like she was justifying everything with "he's my best friend," without realizing how it made me feel. But here's the kicker. After some back and forth, she said she was willing to cut off Travis if it meant saving our relationship. That was the moment I knew I had to make a decision. She was saying all the right things, but I couldn't shake the feeling that this was all too little, too late. I asked her if she thought cutting him off was the answer. Would removing Travis fix what had been broken? She said yes, but I wasn't convinced. It wasn't just about Travis. It was about her understanding why I felt hurt. She seemed to view this as a me versus him situation, when in reality, the issue was her lack of consideration for me as her partner. I told her I needed time to think, and that's where I am now. I've been staying with Rick, and it's been really helpful to have space. The situation with Jamie hasn't fully settled yet, but I'm beginning to realize that it's not just about trust. It's about respect. She respected Travis's feelings more than mine, and that cuts deeper than any physical betrayal ever could. So, here's the update. I haven't made a decision yet. I'm still processing everything, but it's becoming clear that Jamie might not fully understand what a healthy relationship needs. I love her, but love alone isn't enough to fix something like this. And as much as I want to believe her, I need to see real change before I can even think about moving back in. If I decide to stay with her, I need to see consistent actions that show she can respect the boundaries I need in our relationship. And if she can't do that, well, I'm not sure what comes next. I've learned that I deserve someone who can prioritize me the way I prioritize them. So that's where I am right now. I'll keep you all posted if anything changes, but for now, I'm just focusing on me and figuring out what's best for my peace of mind. Part 3, Update. It's been a week since the conversation with Jamie, and to be honest, I'm in a much clearer headspace than I was last time I posted. A lot has happened since that coffee shop talk, and I've been doing some soul searching. First, let me give you an update on Jamie. She's been texting me nonstop, trying to show me that she's serious about making things work. Every day I get messages saying she misses me, that she wants to fix things, and that she'll do whatever it takes. But the more she says it, the more I realize that this situation is about more than just a misunderstanding or a mistake. One of the texts that really stood out to me was when she said, "I never meant to make you feel like you're not enough. And I know now that I've taken you for granted, but Travis is my best friend. He's been there for me longer than anyone, and I can't just cut him out of my life because of a misunderstanding." That was a big red flag for me. Here's the thing. I understand that friendships are important, I get that she's known Travis longer than she's known me, and that history matters. But there's a line between best friend and someone who's so emotionally involved in your life that they start taking priority over your partner. And when she said, "I can't just cut him out," it felt like she wasn't even considering the impact it was having on me. It wasn't even about Travis at that point, it was about her, and her unwillingness to truly see how her actions were damaging our relationship. I decided to take a step back from all the text messages and try to think logically about what I wanted. What do I need from this relationship? Do I want to keep fighting for it, or do I need to walk away? A big part of me still loves Jamie. I've spent almost 3 years with her, and we've shared a lot. There's a deep connection between us, and for a while, I thought we were on the same page about what a healthy relationship looks like. But now I'm questioning whether she understands the concept of boundaries. Does she see me as an equal partner? Or does she still see Travis as the person who gets more of her emotional energy? That's what I keep coming back to. I spoke to Rick again because he's been my rock throughout all this. He said something that stuck with me. You can't make someone change. They have to do it on their own. And it has to come from a place of understanding, not just guilt. That was eye-opening. I had been waiting for Jamie to get it, waiting for her to realize the depth of what she'd done and how it made me feel. But Rick was right. If she didn't understand why it was a problem, she wasn't going to be able to change it. So I made the decision to sit down with Jamie again. I needed to be 100% honest with her. No filters, no sugarcoating. I told her I loved her, but that love wasn't enough for me anymore. I needed her to understand that boundaries in a relationship aren't negotiable. They're a sign of respect. It's not about controlling her or limiting her friendships, but about creating space where both partners feel valued equally. I told her that the way she handled the situation with Travis made me feel second to him. That wasn't the kind of relationship I wanted. I needed her to reflect on whether she was willing to adjust her boundaries. Not because I told her to, but because she realized that they were necessary for the health of our relationship. I asked her if she could honestly say she was ready to prioritize me the way I was prioritizing her. And most importantly, I needed to know if she was willing to take accountability, not just say the right things, but really show me that she understood why what happened was hurtful. Her response? It was a mixture of frustration and sadness. She told me she loved me, that she didn't want to lose me, but that she still didn't fully understand what the problem was with her relationship with Travis. It was like she was stuck in a loop. She'd say the right things, but they didn't come across as genuine. It felt like she was trying to convince herself, not me, that everything was fine. That's when I realized I couldn't keep waiting for her to get it on her own. She needed to do the work, but I wasn't sure if she was capable of that kind of introspection, or if she was just too wrapped up in her own feelings to understand how deeply I'd been hurt. So I told her something I didn't expect to say. I need space. I don't know if I can do this anymore, but I need time to think about whether this relationship can move forward. I don't want to make any decisions while I'm still hurt. That was probably the hardest thing I've had to say, but it was the truth, and I needed to give myself that time. I've been staying at Rick's place, spending time with friends and just trying to focus on myself. It's been a relief not to constantly second-guess every text Jamie sends. I'm starting to realize that I can't keep putting myself in a situation where I feel like I'm not enough. I deserve someone who chooses me, who makes me feel like I matter as much as their friends. As of now, I haven't heard from Jamie. I've been staying off my phone mostly, trying to clear my head. But I'll be honest, the silence is deafening. Part of me wonders if she's finally understanding what's at stake, or if she's just waiting for me to come around. I don't know where this is going, but I do know one thing. I need to take care of me first. Whether or not Jamie and I get back together will depend on whether she can show me she's capable of putting in the effort, not just saying the words. I'm not willing to settle for anything less than a relationship where I feel respected, valued, and prioritized. That's where I am now, and I'll keep you posted. Final update. Well, here we are, the final update. I didn't think I'd be writing this, but life has a way of pushing us in directions we never saw coming. It's been a few weeks since I last posted, and I've had the time to reflect, process, and ultimately make a decision about my relationship with Jamie. Before I get into the details, I just want to say thank you to everyone who offered advice, support, and encouragement during this crazy time. It's not easy to lay bare something as personal as a relationship falling apart, and your words truly helped me find clarity when I needed it the most. So let me take you through what happened after my last post. The silence was deafening. After the conversation where I told Jamie I needed space, the silence was exactly what I needed. I didn't reach out to her, and she didn't reach out to me for a few days. I honestly wasn't sure what to expect. Part of me thought she might just move on, thinking I'd eventually come back to her. Another part of me thought maybe she'd realize that I wasn't just making an empty threat. This wasn't about petty jealousy or insecurity. It was about my boundaries and self-respect. But then something happened. One day, Jamie showed up at Rick's apartment. She didn't text me, didn't call, just showed up. I opened the door, half surprised and half dreading the conversation that was about to happen. She looked different. There was no anger or defensiveness in her eyes, just a deep sadness. She was holding a small bag of our things, including a photo album, a necklace I had given her, and some clothes she had left behind when she moved out. She came in, sat down across from me, and after a long silence, she finally spoke. Jamie's words. "I've been thinking," she began, "about everything. About what you said, about how I hurt you, about how I made you feel like you weren't enough. And I'm sorry. I didn't get it before. I thought I was just being a good friend to Travis, but I see now that I was crossing boundaries that should have never been crossed. I never thought about how it made you feel, and that was wrong." She paused, looking down at the things in her hands. I could tell this wasn't easy for her. She was breaking down the walls she had built around herself, and it felt different this time, like it wasn't about defending herself or justifying her actions, but about actually understanding what she had done wrong. "I love you and I've always loved you," she continued. "I know I hurt you and I want to make it right. I don't want Travis in the picture anymore if that's what it takes. I've realized that no one, not even him, should come before you. And if you'll let me, I'll do whatever it takes to prove to you that I can be the partner you deserve. But I understand if you don't want me back. I get it." Her voice cracked as she spoke, and for the first time in a long time, I saw her vulnerability. She wasn't just the girlfriend who had made mistakes. She was a person who had made a series of decisions without fully understanding the consequences. But now, she was admitting her fault in a way I hadn't expected. I won't lie. It was hard to hear her say all of that. There was a part of me that wanted to forgive her instantly, to just wrap everything up in a neat little bow and pretend everything could go back to normal. But I knew better than that. I'd been down that road before, convincing myself that I could just ignore the problems and hope they went away. But I couldn't do that anymore. I couldn't lie to myself about how much pain I had been in. I told her what I had been feeling all along. "Jamie, I've been hurt. I don't know if I can ever fully forget what happened or if I'll ever stop feeling like I was second place to Travis. You've said all the right things, and part of me wants to believe you. But I need time to heal, and I need to see real change. Not just promises, not just words. I need to know that you understand why I felt the way I did, and why what you did was damaging to our relationship." She nodded, tears still in her eyes, but she didn't try to interrupt. She knew I was speaking from the heart, and I could see that she was listening. "I can't just give you my trust back immediately," I said, "but I can give you a chance to show me that you're serious about making things right. If you're willing to do the work, then maybe, just maybe, we can rebuild. But it won't be easy. It'll take time." She looked relieved, but also terrified. "I'm willing to do whatever it takes," she said quietly, "and I'll prove it to you. I love you, and I'll fight for us if you'll let me." So here we are. We're taking things one step at a time. Jamie has completely cut ties with Travis. She's made it clear that she understands the emotional intimacy she had with him was inappropriate and unfair to me. She's been open and transparent about everything, and we've had long talks about boundaries and trust. But more than that, she's been working on herself. She's been reading books on relationships and boundaries, seeking therapy to understand why she didn't see what was wrong, and trying to build the emotional intelligence she needs to be a better partner. It's not perfect. It's a work in progress. I'm not expecting a quick fix, and I'm not pretending everything's okay right now. But we're both committed to doing the work and seeing where it takes us. I'm being cautious, and I'm protecting my heart. But I'm also allowing space for healing. Do I trust Jamie completely yet? No. But I'm willing to give her the chance to prove herself. I'm also willing to be honest with her about my feelings, my needs, and my fears moving forward. I'm not doing this for the sake of staying in a relationship. I'm doing it because I believe in the potential of what we had, and I think that with time we can rebuild something stronger. That's the final update. I'm still not sure what the future holds, but for now I'm taking it day by day. We'll see if Jamie can rise to the challenge of earning my trust back. And if not, well, at least I know I made the decision based on what was best for me. Thanks again to everyone who followed this journey. I don't know where it will end, but I do know I've learned a lot about myself in the process. Take care.